In an isolated village nestled between mountains and dense forests, lived a community that had long believed in legends and stories about the Apple Witch. The witch, an enigmatic and feared figure, was said to guard a secret orchard where apples were magical, capable of granting wishes or bringing misfortune to those who dared defy her. There was a young girl named Isabella, whose curiosity and boldness were known to everyone in the village. Since she was little, she heard stories about the Apple Witch and felt an inexplicable attraction to the unknown. Her eyes lit up with the idea of adventure and mystery, and, as she grew, the legend of the witch became an intrinsic part of her imagination. One starry night, Isabella decided to defy the warnings and explore the forbidden forest, where the entrance to the magical orchard was said to be hidden. The village was asleep, and she ventured into the darkness, guided only by the faint light of the moon. Every sound in the forest seemed to whisper warnings, but Isabella's resolve was stronger. After hours of searching, she finally found a mysterious clearing, where an invisible portal seemed to invite her. With a racing heartbeat, she crossed the border and found herself in front of an orchard of bright, glistening apples. The air was permeated with a magical energy that made her shiver. In the center of the orchard, she spotted a veiled figure in a dark cloak. It was the Apple Witch, an enigmatic-looking woman with eyes that reflected centuries of wisdom and mystery. She smiled at Isabella, realizing the courage that had brought her here. "Bold young woman, you have dared to enter my kingdom. Why do you seek the orchard of magic apples?" asked the witch, her soft voice echoing in the clearing. Isabella, although intimidated, explained her search for something more in life, something that the magic apples could grant. The witch listened attentively, and after a pause, she agreed to grant him one wish. However, she warned her about the consequences that could accompany the fulfillment of desires. Isabella hesitated for a moment, but her ambition overcame her fear. She asked the witch to make her the wisest among everyone in the village. The Apple Witch nodded, and in the blink of an eye, Isabella felt a wave of knowledge invade her mind. Back in the village, Isabella began to surprise everyone with her newfound wisdom. Her reputation grew, and she became a respected advisor. However, the more Isabella learned, the more she realized that wisdom did not always bring happiness. People began to fear her, and loneliness became her constant companion. Disillusioned, Isabella returned to the Apple Witch, looking for a way to reverse her wish. The witch, again, warned her of the consequences, but Isabella was determined to find happiness, even if it meant giving up her wisdom. The witch agreed to help her, but it would require a price. Isabella would have to pick an apple from the heart of the orchard and bring it back to the witch. It was a seemingly simple task, but the orchard was protected by magic and mystical creatures. The young woman set out on her journey, facing challenges and overcoming magical obstacles. Finally, she reached the heart of the orchard and picked the desired apple. However, as she got closer to the witch, something inside her changed. She realized that true wisdom was not in having all the answers, but in learning to live with the questions. When she handed the apple to the Apple Witch, Isabella made one last request, that the witch use her magic to bring balance to the village, removing fear and bringing understanding. The witch, impressed by Isabella's journey, agreed. As magic spread throughout the village, people began to understand that true value lay in acceptance, compassion, and the constant search for knowledge. Isabella, now freed from the burden of her isolating wisdom, became a leader who guided her community through times of peace and prosperity. The legend of the Apple Witch continued to echo in the village, but now it was told in a different way. It was no longer a story of fear, but a narrative of growth, understanding, and the search for true wisdom that can only be found when the heart is open to life's lessons.